gentlemen, welcome back to We Are Not Entertained. I'm Brock Gorton, and this is my dog Bandit. Yes, thrilling commentary there from my dog. As you can tell, Tommy Haley is not with me once again. He's still down in New Orleans, Louisiana, which, so be it, bud. So be it. So on this episode of We Are Not Entertained, not a lot happened in the world of professional wrestling this past week, other than a stupid-ass fan jumping the barricade to attack Seth Rollins. Come on. At this point, y'all should know that's not how we do things in the modern era. This ain't the 70s or the 80s no more. You ain't doing that to Flair or your local heel. You know, if it was in Kansas City, you're not doing that to Bulldog Bob Brown, you know. It's none of that. Can't be doing that anymore, people. Come on. What else has happened? Great promo between Punk and MJF this past week. Let's see, what else? Lesnar will be returning on this week's episode of SmackDown. That should be interesting, going into, I think, TLC is our next pay-per-view. I'm not sure with WWE anymore. Honestly, I don't know with modern wrestling in general anymore what's going on. But with that, we will get into our review. It's going to be a shorter show today. So, last week I had promised that we'd be reviewing the first episode of Heels. Well, here's the thing. I got 6 minutes into it. I stopped it and I said, I gotta wait for Tommy to be back to review it, because it's too good for just me to do. So, here's what I did. Last week we reviewed the 2011 November 17th edition of WWE Superstars. So we did the November 17th version instead of November 10th this week. So, once again, we'll be doing Superstars, but from November 17th, 2011. Show kicks off, and I love this intro. I said it last week, Adelita's Ways, Invincible, is probably one of the most perfect songs you could have used for a wrestling show, and unfortunately it had to be be used for Superstars, and Superstars wasn't on television anymore. This is their stint on WWE.com. So, that is unfortunate. Half the show is a Raw recap, so I'm not going to be reviewing the Raw recap stuff. This is the go-home episode of Superstars to Survivor Series 2011. So, the Survivor Series where it was Rock and John Cena in a tag match against The Miz and R-Truth. Yeah, there are certain aspects of 2011 I don't miss, and that's one of them. So we're getting kicked off, crowd shot, and what is the first thing we hear? Dun, 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 dun. It's Broken Dreams. Drew McIntyre coming out. Drew McIntyre coming out to Broken Dreams. All is right with the world. This man should still be coming out to this song. And once again, Brandy Rhodes is calling, or is the announcer, PA announcer, public address announcer, ringside announcer, whatever you want to call them. Here on the call for commentary is Scott Stanford and Josh Matthews. I will get into Scott Stanford more in this matchup. So McIntyre's on his way to the ring. He's the heel, obviously, getting hyped up. And then out comes Alex Riley to a massive pop. This guy should have been over, or this guy was over, and he should have been a bigger deal. I'll get to that more in this matchup as it goes. Apparently, these two can't stand each other. They had a match a month ago where Riley won. It was revealed in the lead-up to this matchup that Alex Riley has a torn hip flexor and is refusing to get surgery. Jesus Christ, kid. Match starts up. It's basic lockups and chain wrestling. The fact that Drew McIntyre is a former WWE champion and Alex Riley isn't is a criminal offense because Riley had all the tools. Drew takes over in this matchup. Riley comes back and hits the 10 punches in the corner. Drew bails to the outside. Riley goes to go meet him on the outside as he gets one leg on the apron. It's the one that has the hip flexor injury. Drew attacks it and just starts working that leg the entire time. All throughout this, by the way, Scott Stanford sucks. God, he is so bad on commentary. Drew's still working the leg. Riley tries to start a comeback. He gets shut down. At some point, Riley gets his mouth busted open. And about that same time, I noticed that there are We Are Ryder chants. We are very much in the middle of Zack Ryder's meteoric rise to stardom. He hadn't quite won that U.S. title. He wins it at TLC, which is the next pay-per-view following the Survivor Series. A corner figure 4 by Drew McIntyre. So a ring post figure 4, which, okay, sure. You just busting it out on superstars? Get back in the ring. Riley's, obviously in pain, trying to get up. Drew looks down, slaps him. He's talking shit to him this whole time. And he works the leg some more. Which is where we get a great line, actually. McIntyre wants to take his leg home. Which, okay. Sure, that's a line I hadn't heard before, but alright. Riley dodges a charge into the corner by McIntyre, so McIntyre goes shoulder first into the ring post. This is still the metal ring post at the time, too, so youch. Riley hits a comeback. Spinebuster still looks meh. Said it last week. It's a bad comeback. Or a bad comeback. It's not a bad Spinebuster. It's just kind of a there Spinebuster. There's no real force behind it. It's pretty much, it's basically a Batista Spinebuster where you just kind of picked him up and then gently sent him back down. There's no force on the way down. He tries to go for his finisher, which is TKO. He can't pick him up because his leg's too hurt. So, Drew responds with a massive big boot. It was, wow. That was a heck of a big boot. It's only for a 2 count. Drew is in the corner. He picks Riley up, puts him on the top rope. Riley fights out of it. So, Drew is still on the top rope. Excuse me. Still on the top rope going for a superplex, as that's what Drew was going for. Riley slips underneath, picks him up for the TKO, hits it, and wins. Apparently, it's called the final score. That name sucks. Decent match out of these two. It's more story than Riley had last week in his win. So, I'm just going to call it a 2.5, or 2.5 out of 5. It was an okay match, basic. Nice added story of him trying to overcome a leg injury. So, Riley wins. He should have been so much more. Riley unfortunately gets released. 2015, I do believe. 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. After just not really getting a fair shake. So we go to the commercial and we come back. It's Epico and Primo! Whoa! Epico and Primo come out. I love their theme song. I loved it when I first got back into wrestling in January 2011. So we are, or 2012. So we are not far off from when I picked back up on watching wrestling. Rosa Mendez is not with them. Sad. That's just sad. They had debuted on the SmackDown before, apparently, as a tag team. So they're in the ring. They're in just the standard white smocks that they had. So they're waiting their opponents, and it's the Usos! So, Baby Usos versus Baby Epico and Primo. The Usos do the haka before the match. I miss when they used to do that. However, after they do the haka, there's no, when we say Us, you say O. That's sad. Obviously, I like their current iteration much better. I'm just nostalgic for this because that's how I first saw them. Was them doing the haka, probably on an episode of Saturday Morning Slam, now that I think about it. Which, note to self, review a Saturday Morning Slam episode with Tommy. That can be interesting. Nice beginning of this match. It's a fast-paced affair. They trade tag team moves in the corners. These two teams work really well together. Epico and Primo are very underrated workers. I think they probably didn't get the fair enough shake that they should have gotten. They're really good. Josh and Scott ask if Primo and Epico can win the tag team titles. They would beat Air Boom later in the year. Or later. And for those of you who don't know, Air Boom is the team of Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne, who are your current tag team champions at this time. And they have a criminally underrated theme song mashup. So, it's great. We also find out during this, shortly after that, shortly after they ask if they'll win the tag titles, that Zack Ryder and Primo were a tag team called Easy P. Yes. I, once again, sometimes hate that I'm watching 2011 episodes of WWE because I hear stuff like that. Jeez, it's just, wow. Jimmy gets worked over in the corner for a while. Your standard, he's, isolate one member of the babyface team. Get the heat on him. Prepare for a hot tag. But they did a pretty good job here. Once again, it's the Usos and Primo and Epico, so it's kind of hard to have a bad match between those two. Jimmy hits a flying crossbody, and he's able to get the hot tag to Jay. Jay comes in, he's a house of fire, hitting like forearm shots and stuff like that. Epico is in the corner, and we get a Umaga hip attack. Cover broken up by Primo. Jimmy hits Primo with a flying forearm. The ref tries to get Jimmy to the corner, to which Primo hits a code breaker on Jay behind the referee's back. Primo rolls to the outside of the ring, so Jimmy jumps off the apron onto Primo. Backstabber by Epico on Jay for the win. The Colognes get the win. Another good match. 2.5 out of 5. It never hit a second gear. It was pretty much... In fact, it was... Nice starting point where they're exchanging tag moves to each other. Jimmy gets worked over, and then immediately the hot tag in the finish. So, I wish they had more time to do so. The Colognes win the tag titles from Air Boom January 15th, 2012. So, and it was on a house show too, so, and I do believe that was because Evan Bourne violated the substance policy. I think it was because he was smoking weed, which now that wouldn't really get you anything, I don't think, in WWE, considering who one of their tag team champions are. All right, we come back from break, and oh my god, it's Tyson Kidd, bitches! Let's go! Also, Scott Stanford has been replaced by Matt Striker. Thank God, Scott Stanford sucked. Tyson Kidd's theme song is called Bed of Nails. Look it up on YouTube. It's great. So Tyson's in the ring. We're waiting for his opponent, and my first thought is, what the hell? It's Trent Beretta! Wow. Never thought I'd be reviewing this matchup between Tyson Kidd and Trent Beretta. Kansas City's own referee, John Cone, is in the match. Or, let me rephrase that. Kansas City's own John Cone is the referee for this match. Collar and elbow tie-up gets us started. Great back and forth between these two, by the way. Matt Stryker and Josh Matthews talk about what Twitter is. This is in 2011. That's 10 years ago. And they're asking what Twitter is. God, I'm old. Tyson and Trent are doing great back and forth wrestling as Josh and Matt yammer on. Test of strength. Tyson wins it with Trent Beretta bending backwards. And he fights up only to get caught by a needle at ribs by Tyson. Snapmare takeover by Tyson. And then Tyson goes running off the ropes. Duck under, leapfrog, Trent Beretta from Trent Beretta, which ends in a brutal back elbow, by the way. Beretta takes over with some strikes, backs Tyson in the corner. Tyson then responds to charging Beretta to a drop kick skin the cat spot. If you don't know what that is, imagine this. You're running towards your opponent on the ropes. As you're running towards him, he basically, with two steps, one kick to your chest, one kick to your face, walks you up your body to roll over the ropes. So that's what he does to him. Trenton cuts off a top rope attempt by a flying elbow attack. Tyson crashes to the apron. The flying elbow was new. I hadn't seen that before. Trent tries to go for a basement drop kick. Tyson planks up to avoid it. And then he catches Trent with a massive soccer kick to the face on the outside of the ring. Tyson stomps him on the outside of the ring, throws him back in. They get back in the ring. Tyson is mocking Trent, so he's the heel. But god damn do I love Tyson Kidd. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Another unique move. There's a lot of unique moves in this matchup, by the way. We'll talk about that later. Tyson has a headlock over the middle rope. So, yeah. Followed by a punt kick to the ribs. And it was a hell of a punt kick, too. It landed flush. Only a 1 count. So what does Tyson Kidd transition to? He transitions to the Dragon Sleeper! Trenton gets up and fights out of it. Tyson shoots him off and gets caught by a beautiful swinging neck breaker. God damn, was that a good swinging neck breaker. Oh, it was pretty. I'm a sucker for a few moves. Dragon Sleepers, Clover Leafs, and swinging neck breakers. God damn, our swinging neck breaker is beautiful. Tyson meets Trent Beretta on the apron. Tyson gets pulled through by Trent and gets kicked in the face. And then, again, like I said, there are a lot of moves I haven't seen before. Trent hits a rope hung Fameasser. What the hell? And then the unique moves don't stop. By the way, I'm having to pause the video every 5 seconds to write down my notes that I have for this during this matchup. Trent Beretta goes to the top rope, and the best way I can describe this move is he hits a Phoenix Splash neck breaker to a standing Tyson Kidd. I don't know how to describe it because what the hell? It was, god damn. Like, I can literally see the move in my head right now because I just watched the episode. I can't do it justice. You have to look it up. There's an entire playlist of these episodes of Superstars from 2009 till, I think, 2013. Definitely go look it up. Trent Beretta gets a 2 count off that, by the way. Tyson Kidd kicks out of it. That wasn't the finish. Trent tries to go for a tornado DDT, bouncing off the middle ropes. Tyson blocks it. Enziguri by Trent Beretta. And then a big running knee to Tyson to the... It was almost like Daniel Bryan's running knee, but it was a single leg knee. That only gets a 2 count. So Tyson rolls to the corner, standing, trying to pull himself up into the corner. Beretta goes running at him. Tyson vaults him up in the air, and Trent gets snake-eyed on the top turnbuckle, goes right into Tyson Kidd, who hits a brain buster. I don't ever remember him hitting one of those back then, but here we are. And that's how he wins. Tyson Kidd wins on a brainbuster, so he didn't win on the swinging neck breaker, not on the blockbuster, not on the elbow drop the springboard elbow drop, not with the sharpshooter. He wins with a brainbuster. Hot damn, what a match. A lot of stuff you wouldn't see on today's television. A lot of innovative stuff that I just haven't seen, period. Plus, oh, excuse me, my allergies are going crazy right now. Plus a lot of good old school style wrestling to get us started off. It really got me into it. These guys were both way ahead of their time, honestly. 4 out of 5. Go find this match. Damn, is it short, but man, it's so good. Trent Beretta would get released in January 2013. So, primarily at this time after he was part of a tag team with Kalen Croft, the Dude Busters. He was on Superstar, SmackDown. About this time, 2012, he'd go to the rebranded NXT and go there until his release in 2013, which is unfortunate. Tyson Kidd, as you all know, would be crippled in 2015. Thank you, Samoa Joe. You fat bastard. Both these guys should honestly be the faces of WWE or AEW right now. And the fact that Trent Beretta is, I don't know where, and then a tag team with Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, I hate AEW for that. That should be one of your top guys, because, man, he was doing that in 2011. Imagine what he can do now. I don't usually like flippy shit. Beretta was hitting stuff that I'm like, God damn! And I enjoyed, so, because he has his fundamentals down. As I said, the rest of the show was a Raw recap, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, that was Superstars from November 17th, 2011. I got Tyson Kidd, I got Alex Riley, Drew McIntyre, the Usos, Primo and Epico, and Trent Beretta, so I'm pretty happy. Once again, Josh Matthews and Matt Striker, underrated commentary duo. Josh Matthews, around this time, was not great on SmackDown, but he was pretty good on Superstars when he was with Matt Striker. For whatever reason, him and Booker T didn't mesh, which is a shame. But it worked. I mean, him and Striker worked. Him and Stanford did not, because Josh was running color on that for that, where instead of play-by-play, which is what he should be a play-by-play guy, and it's pretty much showing right now in Impact with him and D'Lo Brown, damn, I wish I could talk. It's pretty much showing right now with him and D'Lo Brown in Impact right now. They're doing really well as a commentary duo. Of course, Matt Striker, as we all know, he's a good commentator. Just look at his stuff in Lucha Underground with Vampiro. But yeah, that was Superstars, and that's primarily the rest of this show. Our show for this week, much shorter than normal, but that's mainly because not a lot happened in the world of wrestling, which is nice, but at the same time, kind of sucks. So, next week, if Tommy is back, we'll be reviewing Heels, the first episode of Heels. And just based off what I saw from that first 6 minutes, I might want to watch the whole series. So I might have to find a way to start watching that. But until then, I've been Brock Gorton. This has been my dog Bandit, who has been passed out on my feet this entire time during the podcast. And until BTT this Tuesday. Or no, I record it this Tuesday. Until BTT Wednesday. We'll see you all, folks, on the next one. Oh, other plugs. Go Follow the B Card Entertainment Twitter account. A lot of good stuff coming from them right now. Also, shameless plug, a big project me and Tommy have been working on is almost done. We have entered final stages of editing for it. I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy. Episode 1 is almost done editing, which means I'll work on episode 2. Once episode 2's done, it'll be ready to go out onto YouTube. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. I cannot wait for it. But until Wednesday, I'm BTT with hopefully the entire gang back together. We shall see. I've been Brock Gordon. It's been a Sleepy Bandit. And when it comes to this episode of Superstars, I was thoroughly entertained. Bye, everybody.